It's BDS! Like Fak, how you doing?
Good, and you?
Yeah, good. Good to have you here. It's been a long year since that last trophy lift. Of course, you did Gamers 8, but a major trophy here. Do you feel confident that this year you can do it again?
Yes, we work a lot and we are to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, G2, obviously a rival of yours. Does it feel even more, I don't know, appealing to get into a semi-final, taking down the world champions?
No, we need to win everyone, so no matter if it's G2 or not.
Now, of course, a win here also guarantees that spot at SI in Sao Paulo. That's a lot of pressure, and that's something that's got to be playing on your mind.
No, to be honest, because we are here to win this major, and if we can qualify for 6, I take it, but we are here to win this major.
G2, standing up there, you know that they like to talk a lot. They like to get in your mind. Is there anything you want to say to them before they come down those steps?
They talk, we play. That's it.
They talk, we play. Go join the rest of your team. All right, I like that. I like that energy, that's for sure. All right, sometimes in competitive play, you've got to lose yourself. But this team is looking more like the Montreal megastars that moved mountains. It's G2! I always get a little bit nervous with a live microphone around this man. Alamau, can I say, first things first, I've never seen anybody rock the blonde that well. It looks good.
Looks good.
Yeah.
It looks like Slim Shady.
That's it.
Guess who's back?
Back again. Listen, world champions. That feels like a bit of a while ago now. Things haven't necessarily been going your way. Uno brought in, and now it seems to be clicking here in Atlanta. What do you think it is? You found that G2 magic again?
Yeah, I can feel the magic. We've been 13 matches in a row winning, so BDS will have to do some magic to beat us today.
Yeah, what do you make of BDS this time around? Obviously, best of 3 environment that you're stepping into, EU rivals. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be fun. It's EU rivals, but we always beat them, so it's gonna be normal for us.
They're listening. They can hear you. Anything you want to say?
Shaiko, we're coming for you.
All right, go and take your seat, Alamau. Chances are, who knows, we might be speaking to him after this. Not if BDS have their way. It is time for our second quarterfinal. This should be a banger. Mandy, Dev, lead us through it.
Thank you very much, Ian. Our NA teams may be yet today to play, but of course before that, we do have a European derby to take place. I'm Dev. Mandy, I could not be more excited for this match.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The energy here is crazy. We've got a great crowd here in Atlanta, but this is for all you guys at home. Thank you so much for tuning into Rainbow Six, and we hope you enjoy the show.
On the one hand, we have world champions from this year and the legacy that G2 has. On the other hand, BDS with their trophies at various events, including exactly 1 year ago in Jönköping, Sweden. Can they do it again? That's my question, because on the other side, G2, the only one on that team who's won a major is Alamau, back on Team 1 in Mexico so long ago.
Yeah, that's exactly right. For BDS, it's everything on the line here. SI qualification on the line. If they don't land this, not only do they miss out on beating G2, but they also miss out on Sao Paulo later in the year.
And within the European region, these are two of the greats. There are a lot of great teams from Europe, everybody knows that, but the two that remain here are now facing off, and that means we will only have one remaining going into our semi-finals. G2, with all of their legacy, with all of their personality, with all of the smack that they talk, and on the other side, the French, cool, calm, collected, passionate in the server, but outside of that, they say, we let our gameplay do the talking.
Yeah, G2 have really turned it up here in terms of the personality. I mean, Fox said it, the NA crowd love personality, and we know that the players on G2 are absolutely going to be feeding off the energy.
Yeah, we have some real OGs in the server as well today. A lot of these players have been competing since the very first season of Pro League. And we also have a lot of the oldest players at this event as well. Half of the players in the server today are in the top 10 oldest players that have competed here. And G2 is getting fired up. We have the rookies, we have the OGs. And on the flip side, like we've said, BDS, calm as ever.
Yeah, BDS is sitting there like, come on, boys, get in.
I think they're impatient to get us to start. I know we have all 5 from each team in the server now, but the game is not yet ready to play. Mandy, I know that the crowd here in North America will be cheering mostly for the NA teams, but out of these 2 Europeans, which do you think that they will favor?
I mean, I think we got the call out from Jacob when he was doing it. It seems like G2 are the favorites of the crowd.
Yeah, it's true. G2 might have earned quite a bit of reputation with their 6th Invitational performance. We're getting into Kafe, the very first map in what is likely to be a grueling best of 3 series. BDS started out on home turf, their map pick of Kafe. And well, this is a little bit more one-sided in the social prediction than I would have expected. G2 favored to take it. And it is time to get into the 2 European rivals, G2 versus BDS. The best that Europe has to offer, a fierce rivalry that must be settled here in a best of 3. And we'll see what happens in the first map. BDS starting out on the attacking side on Kafe.
Within seconds of going into the server, Alamau is immediately putting in the trash talk. Good luck, you will need it, apparently. Says Alamau as we jump in through the ban phase.
Thatcher, the first one banned out. Oh, we're getting some of the ooh-ways. I don't know if I can hear you guys well enough. You'll need to work a little bit harder than that, but of course it's still early in the day. The Nomad taken on out by BDS.
Yeah, first 2 bans to go. It does mean that all the ranged hard reach and all the kinds of things that BDS, especially starting out on the attack, have been left in. Last time we saw BDS play on this map, we saw them bring along some pretty interesting stuff. Kali, for example, like things like that that would deal with problems on the defense that you wouldn't normally expect.
And Doki in the chat as well, after seeing that Nomad ban, replies with gulp. We've seen a lot of talk back and forth in the server between these players. I'd say more than we've seen from any event in the past. Teams are starting to realize that they can get away with a little bit more than you would typically expect when it comes to that smack talk. And in the studio for the play-ins and for the playoffs, we certainly experience that. And I have no doubt that if you listen closely, after some tight rounds, you will hear Alamau's fury.
All right, jumping into the server for the second quarterfinal of today. G2 starting out on the defense are going to take us over to what I believe is Breeding as the first bomb site of choice over on the second floor. With the absence of the Zami, we can see Benja bringing along the castle, but it's not going to be aided by that setup internal to the building. That being said, last time we saw BDS play this map, they dismantled that setup fairly easily in LMs. No longer needing to bring along that Kali, just take along the Zofia is going to be the one with the ranged explosives, then go and deal with that.
There's no doubt about it, G2 have the advantage in the first half here, being on defense on Kafe. Pengu said it in the first match today, but when you're on stage, when the pressure is on, starting on defense is like a nice cool blanket to calm you down, steal your nerves, let you move forward, forcing your opponent to make the first move.
Pretty extended hold over there in shop for G2 as BDS start to make their approach into the building. Bride is going to dismantle at least some of this setup going into the top floor. That's going to allow some of the rest of his players to send in that flurry of grenades, Zofia charges, whatever they might need to do to systematically break this down.
Oh, a little bit of damage from Alem's. Quite an aggressive peek here. An aggressive play from G2. It's Benja Master, the Dane himself, the prodigy. He's getting quite aggressive, looking for someone from BDS to overpeak him. Thus far, it's Alamau who fires up, peeking the red hatch. He said, Shaika, we're coming for you. And in the first round, he's already made good on that promise.
Yeah, with that castle barricade staying up inside a shop, the double door one, Alamau is so safe inside there to go and take all his gunfights, all the ones that he's comfortable with. Uno on the other side is going to support him over in a Psycho position, irony, but never mind, he falls off this for now. Can't quite land the shots just yet, but Leaky Pack, he might have a cutoff here.
Patience from BDS. They're waiting for someone to overstep. Uno on the other side does not get caught. It's in fact Alamau first, but Uno to trade. Once again, he dons this G2 jersey, and once again, he finds himself on a stage representing one of the most esteemed teams in Rainbow Six.
It has been a bloodbath in the top floor so far between these two teams, but Benja is not ready to give it up. Bride on the other side, oh, is he looking the right way? I think there might be a bit of protection on his right, stopping him from being taken down by Benja over in the stage.
Benja looks to get aggressive at the moment. Virtue duels with Renshiro, finds a double. The Aussie finds two, the Finn finds three. And with that, a fairly elementary opening round for G2.
Yeah, BDS, they barely got their foot in the building. The moment that they got onto the roof, it was such a difficult translation from the roof to even step inside a shop. They were met by the resistance of Alamau, and everyone else just flurried on through inside of the stage, inside of Cigar, and just took them all down before they could even make a dent into the defense.
Every one of these players has played on the main stage before, many a time. The least experienced player on the main stage at this event is, in fact, Leakafak. Once a rookie for BDS, but already a major champion. Similar story for Benja Master on the other side.
Let's go, boys! Let's go, guys!
And that's the kind of energy we expect out of G2. One round in, now Alamau's already bringing the fire.
We're going to go up to the top floor as the next bomb site for G2, and it doesn't look like they're changing up their strategy all that much from what we saw on the second floor in Reading Dev. I mean, have a look at this. Still a pretty aggressive rotation hold going in all the way from backstore inside of Cigar. The same castle set up. Alamau still on mute with the shotgun. It's feeling like a bit of deja vu.
I guess G2 thinking if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We expect to at least delay time or find a pick or two or three defending this top floor. Defending this piano and cigar shop extension, but here comes the Twitch drone sneaking in behind enemy lines. Leakafak loses it before he finds anything.
What do BDS change here? They're looking as if they're bringing in the same setup or the same lineup, at least on the attacking half, but the approach has got to be different, especially if G2 are comfortable enough to repeat the same strategy.
You can see the temptation from Benja to go for an aggressive jump out. It has been read by BDS. Look at this, the quick prone peek. He doesn't find anything.
Yeah, Benja is comfortable with playing a danger so far, and Doki down below is going to look for a peek out onto the south rappel. Renshiro, though, he's got his eyes trained on the angle for now. He knows that Doki's going to get aggressive and look for him, and Doki actually thinks the better of it and will pull off.
G2 set the tempo in the first round with their aggressive peaks, and now they look to make BDS make that first move.
I quite like this caution from BDS on the other side. They haven't gone to try and contest or drop the red hatch super early on. They're just waiting to see if they can pull a reaction from G2, and this might be the one they're looking for.
And indeed, you are correct. BDS reads Doki like a book. Two players trained on that garage position. Even with the impact, it's not enough to stave off an opening pick in favor of the French.
And that's the opening that they wanted. But there goes Alamau ripping out a C4. It doesn't connect to it. Virtue's shots do, and Alamau's SMG will connect as well. Leaky Crack from down below will at least make an incision in through white stairs, but is it enough? Renshiro can claim one back.
And Leakafak a second. This is not just back into the realm of possibility, but it is back into the realm of probability for BDS. A numbers advantage as Leakafak has snuck his way up the white stairs.
Oh, Sneaky Beaky, he's looking in for the backstab. Oh, but does he know? Alamau's down below and could look to flank his flank.
Oh, Leakafact doesn't seem to be aware of it. He's now moved forward, but he might find one. Virtue's there, ready to even up the numbers and take 3. Renshiro now with it all to do against the Aussie and the Brazilian. Virtue of 4K! Fired up on the main stage with the ward, and the Aussie laps him up.
Really nice work there from G2. They met the caution with, I suppose, caution of their own. Even though BDS spent a long time outside the building, they were reading the early aggression of G2. The moment that they got inside of the building, G2 just played that trade game to perfection. They really played it so patiently in through the mid-round, letting BDS take their time. And by the time it came down to the 1 versus 2, Rensho was so disconnected from his team, there was no way he was going to win that one.
BDS relied on a couple of heroics in that late round, and unfortunately for Leakafact, he just missed his mark. A little bit more patience, he may have found Alamau on the flank, a little bit more precision, and he may have found Virtue hiding in washrooms, but let's have a look at these frags. Quite a montage here for Virtue in that round. 4 impactful kills, every single one of them having a huge impact for his team. It was a wall bang to close. How he finds that, I have no clue.
Yeah, sharp shots from Virtue. Once you're given the Warden 1.5x license, I mean, hey, you run away with it, right? Especially if you're Virtue. He's been excellent through 2023.
He has. He had quite a fiery 6 Invitational as well, as did most of G2, of course. Uno, the only player on this roster that did not win that championship with this team. In fact, Uno has yet to raise any trophy. No majors, no Pro League finals, no 6 Invitationals. Perhaps this new G2 is the one where he will do it.
G2 are taking us over to mining and dining. They're not taking us down into the first floor of kitchen, but instead try to throw a curveball at BDS, see what they can respond with.
But as Kafe so typically is, it's a slow start for BDS, ascertaining where the presence is on the map. As soon as Leakafact's drone is taken down by Doki, he decides perhaps not pillars as my first entry point.
Uno down below is getting ready to contest this. Leaky back there, Lems on the rappel there, is feeling a little bit of the danger of the lineup from down below and is going to jump off that for now. Not a whole lot of resistance from G2 on the top floor, just a little bit of it, and it's up to BDS now to pick it apart.
But once again, Mandy, I think BDS are waiting for a reaction from G2 so that they can then find the opening pick by punishing early plays, but a C4 goes amiss. However, Alamau jumps straight out the east balcony and takes down Leakafact. Careful for the Claymore, he finds one back, and there is no confirmation. There's no trade for BDS.
I'm pretty shocked they didn't trade that one. BDS, they now have the territory over inside a shop. Need to translate it, but there goes the Lems repelling in, can take down Virtue. So still, numbers even back up for BDS as they make their way in through the top floor.
And critically for BDS, they've got this map control as well, stealing away that entire top floor from G2.
But what do they do now? It's about the translation from the top floor into the ground floor. What bomb site will they hit with the vertical pressure that they have got in their hands? It's Renshiro with the sledge to start to tear it up through the mid-round.
Doki's used his C4, not available now. Shaiko resetting a drone here, always cautious for the flanks are BDS. They have a read on G2, but what if G2 plays slow?
It's up to BDS now to press the attack. They have the vertical pressure they need, but they still haven't been able to clear the player outside of reading. That's Doki, who's now had to vacate that position and fall one back. But what do they do from here? Do they then go and try and move their way on into reading? It seems like that's what they're going to do.
The Lambs moving on through, clearing these corners, but nobody in reading. There is, however, one just around this corner. Doki finds him, a trade comes through for BDS, but back again likely as Uno is at the bottom of white. Shaiko finds him. 20 seconds to convert the man advantage now for BDS on this attack. But Benjamaster, the Dane, holds on, falls back, repicks, finds one, looking for a second, the trade for Bride. Now the man who talks must act.
5 seconds.
1v2 for Alamau, but he is cut down. The French find their first.
Great deconstruction of the bomb site there from BDS. Once they had that top floor control, they knew that flushing Doki out of his position meant that they could translate it down inside of reading. That was the safe haven that they managed to find in the second floor. And once Alems made headway in there, he found the picks that he needed off the back of a trade, I suppose, coming in through the laundry hatch. It opened up that half of the map to BDS, and they're able to walk their way in onto the bomb site with the numbers advantage from there.
And it goes to show that despite losing these early engagements, BDS cannot be counted on out. Even the fact that they were unable to trade Alamau, trying to jump back inside after his run out on the east balcony, which we now get to see in full HD. No Claymore underneath his window. Ironically, the only window on that balcony where there was no Claymore. Alamau detects it
5 seconds left.
and finds his opportunity. However, he was not able... He was not able to clutch up. BDS getting fiery now as well.
They put themselves on the scoreboard as well. It's what you want to be doing over on the attack for BDS. And look at the lineup that they've got going for them this time around. A lot of zoning operators. There was the Grim that's now being teased out from Breedy as opposed to bringing along extra hard breach. It makes me think that BDS this time are changing up the pace. You don't need the hard breach to go and deconstruct the bomb site or whatever. Just try and inject someone inside of the map. There's a Nook as well on Leaky Fac. We've got to keep an eye on him.
First, BDS will have to keep an eye on the spawn peak. Alamau teased it for a brief moment, opening up all these piano windows. The defense are suggesting to BDS that they will play aggressive. Now, BDS have had that read and yet have not always been able to punish this early aggression. We saw it in the round just prior with Alamau's early pick. But I wonder now if BDS will be able to reply. It seems 50-50, Mandy. Every time G2 makes an aggressive play, BDS are often punishing it.
Well, that's what they've got to do. In the absence of the No-Man, which they banned out, by the way, they now have to account for it in the early round in their approach to the building because they don't have the air jabs to keep G2 accountable.
I wonder if Uno will be spotted. There he is. Renshiro pings him out to the team. Uno now knows he's been spotted and he starts to fall on back, but there's already attackers in this top floor. Shaiko's a very sharp shot in those long engagements with the 1x site. Just around the corner from him lies Benjamaster in washrooms. Shaiko gets on the drone, spots him out. Elsewhere, Virtue's failed C4 means that still we are out of numbers equality. In goes a nade, but there's plenty of catch here to support G2.
This is a really tough spot now for BDS. They have no hard breach. There's no way they're going to be able to deconstruct this position inside of Bathroom unless they make their way on in with their guns.
Oh!
And that's Shaiko on the other side, but he's shut down by Benja.
How does Benja find that kill? In no universe should he have done so. There is, however, a trade back thanks to a Lems, and Alamau protects his Surya Gate, taking down that Gemini before it can disable the utility. Alamau's getting aggressive, but Leakafak elsewhere has stolen a pick away on site.
This is good from Leaky Fac. He's taken away a little bit of territory from G2 over on the the second floor. But here goes Alamau rounding the corner onto Alems, but he can take him down.
Oh, the trade from Uno. He was spotted early. He cannot be punished late. Still numbers advantage for BDS, but Uno's about to change that! Taking down Leakafak and putting BDS once again on the back foot.
Solid work so far from BDS as they're going to think about this second floor instead of trying to hold on to the top floor. They know that there's only one player that could be in the bomb site, and they're going to try and hit it.
Two of the most clutch players in Rainbow Six, Brede and Renshiro on the attack now. Time dwindles, but they must make their move. Virtue holds the perfect angle to take down Renshiro, and Uno supports him for the second. Up 3-1 at G2, with plenty of this first half still to play.
That was a good pivot from the remaining two players of G2. Virtue and Uno doubling down on their picks inside of the hallway, especially Uno as well. He was in the top floor, he knew he had the vertical lines, but he thought the better of it and held the crossfire.
And round by round, Mandy, we see G2 force the issue in this early round, leading us to late 2 versus 2s, 3 versus 3s, situations that G2 want to be in. Top 10 moments where I wish I learned French right there.
It is the other language you want to learn, other than Portuguese, of course. I mean, I feel like if you're in the Rainbow Six industry, you either want to know English or Portuguese. You can speak to everyone after that, but yeah, it would be good to know what BDS is saying.
Some really sharp shots from Uno
really
that
nice.
round.
So good.
Especially after being droned right at the start. He even comes back in the nick of time to support his team. Alibi is not happy about that one. Disaster. Perhaps we have a BDS fan in the audience, or 3. I think that we've got a couple of BDS fans in the audience today.
5 seconds left before insertion.
They're almost as loud as the G2 fans. Can I hear the G2 fans for a second? Almost is a generous word.
Well, they do love it here in North America. Top floor bomb site for G2, repeat of course, but very different strategy. We're no longer seeing the castle setup being held inside a shop, but it doesn't seem to matter for Benja. He's already got a C4 prepped for the rappel up onto the roof.
Oh, this is so cheeky. Oh, but it gets shot mid-air by Shaiko. The sharp shooter, one of the best players in the game, notorious for his mechanics.
This is a bit of a pulled back defense from G2. They're not holding onto shop as aggressively as they did the last time they played this bomb site, but instead of leaning into the mirror, having slipped through the band phase and holding onto these really long lines of sight. I think it's 2 or 3 players with 1.5x's in their hands. They can use all of those long angles having been broken up to try and contest them as they make their way in through shop.
Yeah, but there's also a lurk going on from Leakafak. Lurky Leakafak. But downstairs, he will eventually meet Doki, but one of Doki's mirrors has been dismantled thanks to the Twitch pick from Alems.
Uno with a C4 ripped out as well, ready to toss that one across, but it's Shaiko to be spearhead of the push for BDS as he makes his way in. Doki, though, he's been taken down.
Yeah, that's the lurk from Leakafak, taking down that reading player. I'm not sure if Doki decided to get a little bit too aggressive downstairs, but either way, an early pick and early aggression falls flat for G2. 2 players now downstairs for the defense. BDS numbers advantage, but where do they make their move?
If BDS realize they could maybe have a think about hitting the bomb site right now. No more C4s in the hands of G2, but that being said, Uno's just taking down Renshu, who I believe was out on the rappel, but here goes the rest of BDS. Surely they can at least try and translate this control in through shop.
And as the smokes go through, Uno is too far from home to assist. A nade goes through, perfect! Onto Alamau, Shaiko might not know it. And as the Finker Adrenal Surge comes through, BDS have a huge opportunity. Shutting Virtue down. 2 players on the ground for G2. Means it's all up to Benja once again. Against 4, Shaiko can easily lap up the final few picks, forcing Benja into a 1v4, swiftly becoming a 1v3. Brede does not need to force this. He looks to relocate. Find a more optimal plant position. Shaiko, well, he's always that guy, isn't he? Closing the round for BDS, who are 1 step closer to tying the score.
Absolutely massive round there from Shaiko. Not only did he claim the territory that BDS needed to win the round-winning territory, but he was the one to open up in picks as well. He claimed his 2 on the entry, downing one with a really nice nade, and closed the round, making sure Brede was safe on his plant as well. Massive round from the entry of BDS.
I think the BDS fans took that loudness comment a little bit too personally. But we'll see as the game goes on. Perhaps if the half can be tied, there's no doubt who that would favor. BDS on their attack, getting 3 rounds, and more than that, finding 2 in a row to close the half. There's no doubt where that momentum would fall.
Yeah. I gotta say, I really do like the change of pace there from BDS. They started out slow, doing this like deconstructing type approach into the map, but that time around, we really got to see the injections that we wanted to from Leakafak and from Shaiko. They went in and they tried to claim the territory of the map that they needed to go and win out the round. They did that with so much confidence.
5 seconds left.
Good entries from BDS, good lurks. Leakafak has been a stellar player this tournament. Him and Shaiko between them already have hit double digits in this game, 5 kills apiece. The top fraggers on their squad. On the other side, it's a very uneven affair. Virtue and Uno stealing the majority of the kills. But that's the thing about G2, every single player has pop-off potential.
The lineup here from BDS does make me think that they're looking to go for a slower pace round this time around, trying to adjust their way of deconstructing the map. Last time we saw them attack this bomb site, they did this really nice push into the top floor, down through reading, and into the bomb site. This time around, though, it is going to be aided by the Bravo of Alems to see what he can hack and try and create some room for his entries to get in safely.
Oh, and this Brava is so powerful against the Valkyrie, isn't it? However, Doki spots it and protects his Valkyrie cameras for a little bit longer. Alems has just hacked 1 default camera, but I wouldn't be surprised if G2 clue in pretty quickly and take it down.
There are a lot of players on drones right now. BDS taking their time in the early round to find the point of least resistance, find a bit of safety for Shaiko to finally make his way in, and that's the player inside his shop. He's got to be careful. Down below is Benja with a C4 ready and prepped.
Okay, but here comes that logic bomb, so no more camera access. Benja hangs up his phone quickly and gets straight back onto this piano cam. He spots 2 players. Virtue wants to make an aggressive peek, but doesn't get it as of yet. Ben just still calling out information to his team. And Virtue decides to fall back.
Good stuff from BDS. They are sitting in the blind spots of the vertical C4 for now. They know that there could be a player down below, as there is no players of BDS down there, so they're playing it safely. This is nice as well from LeakyFact. Oh, this could be a bit dangerous, actually. The C4 actually misses. Is he going to detonate it? LeakyFact, you've got to be careful on the other side, but the flurry of kills is going in the way of G2.
It does, but only barely, Mandy. A single player in advantage, and Shaiko's coming for the backstab. He can't land enough shots. Virtue finds his 8th, and amidst the chaos, G2 reigns supreme. A 4-2 split on the half.
Solid work there for G2. They really managed to shut down the sort of mini execute that BDS went in through the top floor. They spent such a long time measuring, and when they finally went to cut, G2 were ready.
A good half from G2. We have their analyst, Titan, on the line. Titan, what have you got to say?
Not too much. I mean, they play the game as expected. They've got a huge variety of straps and map pool and what we want to do realistically. So ideally, we're just looking to play our game, basic source of small counters that we can do. And so far, the boys with a 4-2 half on defense on Kafe, absolutely spot on, perfect with what we need.
Is there anything to say about moving into this second half?
Not too much. Again, same sort of thing. BDS, they love Kafe. They feel very comfortable on it. But the reality is, we're just going to prove that we're the better team on Kafe. We're the best team in Kafe in Europe.
And how did you feel about the veto as a whole? We've got Chalet and Nighthaven if we get to it.
I'm not really sure what BDS were playing at there with those maps, but you know they clearly wanted to give us a free win, so we'll take advantage of that, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Titan. Confident as always are G2. And a little bit of insight there, I got to say, Mandy, whenever you hear confidence come out of G2, always got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And keep in mind that now BDS have gone on their side swap over onto the defense, and we like to say that Rainbow Six is the tale of 2 halves. And even though G2 have come away with a 4-2 half, Titans seem pretty happy about that. BDS could well and truly replicate that same success.
Very much so. You want to talk about how today's gone so far? How many defenses did we see in that W7 MGK game? Very defender-sided finals we've seen so far here in Atlanta. But as the sample size increases, we expect that to change, and G2 could certainly prove a point here.
The logic bomb off the Dokkaebi will ring out over onto the defense, but the G2 players are in really quick. Doki coming up through the red stairs. He's going to put a spray through the wall onto Pillar, but no one's going to meet him on the other side. The only player on the second floor is LeakyFact over on white stairs, anticipating a player to come through with the shotgun in hand, but he's not going to be met by anyone just yet.
Yeah, Virtue's too patient for that. Oh, but talk about patience. Alamau has exhibited none of it as he's already made his way into reading. A nade, unfortunately, for G2 doesn't land. There's not enough info to make it play just yet.
I mean, look, he misses one, they've got 5 more in their pocket. So if they want to get Virtue up the white stairs as well, they could send up a few more of those.
Oh, but LeakyFact does not want to let anyone get past. He will listen for someone running by his hallway and swing. Brede also supporting with this camera as well. Then just going back outside now, repositioning. G2 are pushing everywhere at once, except for hard clearing this piano position.
Shaiko, though, he wants to keep it at bay just in case the pressure comes in through later on. Small thing about BDS is I think they had a good read on the grenades from below. All of them were sitting on a hard floor, so they couldn't be grenaded from down below with the vert nades. But now, having vacated the ground floor, have G2. They've gone onto these rappels instead. They're having a think about clearing inside the shop, seeing what they can get inside a cocktail. Actually, one is going to be sent in from down below. That's Alamau, but it doesn't quite connect.
However, we did see Shaiko take a hell of a lot of damage from a nade from the skylight. Now Shaiko himself has been droned. He slips out safely back into the bomb site, back past his home, Shaiko spot, and towards the bomb site. Another nade to come through here for G2, but none of these nades have netted kills thus far. Doki, however, opens the equation, and G2 swoop in to clean up.
Here goes Alamau, though, in on his own rappel, can take down Renshiro as well, leaving it all alone in the 1 versus 3 now for LeakyFact, all alone on the mute. Bet you can help him out, though.
Yeah, but not for much longer, as Uno's got his number. We did have a team kill amidst the chaos, but it seems not to matter for G2. Perhaps Titan's confidence was warranted. You see nothing but frustration on the French faces.
It almost looked like G2 didn't have any control on the map through the entire round. They spent such a long time poking and prodding at BDS, and BDS tried so hard. They put in such a great effort to make sure that they were safe from the vertical nades and from the control that G2 had down below. But at the same time as G2 were doing that, they didn't telegraph where their push was coming from later on. They didn't have that control down of red, so they had Shaiko kept at bay there. They had BDS players worried about the front and BDS players worried about the back too, and that really spread the defense out thin. So the moment that G2 actually decided to strike, all they needed to do was win their ones on the entry, and well, you can back in these players to do that.
110%. During this tournament, G2 have been infallible, but neither have they truly been tested. They are one of only 2 undefeated teams here in Atlanta thus far, but one could also argue they haven't had the toughest run to get to the finals. 7-3 over Fury, 8-6 over Dark Zero, 7-1 over Scars, 7-4 over Damwon Kia, D+ Kia, and a 7-5 over GK. That's 3 APAC teams, a MENA team, and an overtime against an NA team. This is by far the hardest game that G2 have had yet, and they're not showing it at all.
Now BDS, having lost that last round, it did warrant them to take their tactical timeout, which I think is fair enough. G2 are starting to run away with it, especially with the momentum. And that last round in particular, it felt like BDS had the right idea against G2. They had the read on the attack that G2 were going for, but they tripped over the last hurdle when G2 went in for the execute, even with no map control. So what BDS need to do now is they need to recollect themselves, keep their composure, and make sure that they can close these rounds to the end.
And I think the frustration we saw from Likafak when he was very enthusiastically speaking at the end of last round was due to the confusion that would likely have been on BDS's side. G2 uses all nades, find no kills. You think that BDS is going to be favored. And now Alems decides, I think it's about time we get spicy with it, going for an aggressive spawn peek. However, I do not believe anyone from G2 will cross his line of sight. Shaiko elsewhere has gone too aggressive and fallen victim to Alamau, who hits him with the question mark in chat. He continues to play the villainous behavior, but Alems gets the second kill in, taking down Uno, continuing to manifest from this piano window.
Oh, Alems being a bit relentless over there on the top floor, but here goes G2. A very linear push inside of Bakery. They've taken no other map control except for Bakery so far, and it seems like it is going to stay that way. The thing they need to worry about now is the vertical pressure from up above from BDS. They have 2 players, one of them being the Aruni, who's made a couple holes and is having a look in through prep.
Alamau wants to spray it on back. G2, for the most part, looking for a very direct push. They have no interest whatsoever in clearing these players above, but they will bide their time. They will play the confusion game, getting information on the site, identifying points of weakness, looking for an opportunity to make a play.
And it seems like it's going to be aided by the utility of Virtue on the Capital, the execute-centric utility that you want to keep in your pocket until it's the right moment to strike. But what they need to worry about here is dislodging some of these players in the top floor, because Alems is going to be holding on to that for as long as he can. But it doesn't matter. Benja, he directly contests the angle and will take him down.
G2 are just baiting BDS into pushing. The diffuser is not even within G2's clutches, and yet they find kill after kill. Another nade to go through, the smokes to cover these lines of sight, leaving Bride all alone on the bomb site in a 1 versus 4 match point on the other side of a 4v1 for G2. But they don't need to get aggressive, they don't need to push. Bride has the chance to clutch, but Doki shuts him out. Map point on BDS's pick for G2.
This is another part of the G2 attacks. I mean, we've seen it happen twice now. G2, they take minimal map control. They barely take anything to their name, but what do? They bait BDS into a false sense of security and a false sense of safety. Even though G2 were over inside of Prep, over inside of Bakery, they didn't make their way on in because they knew that they weren't safe from the vertical, but they had the confidence to challenge it anyway. And all that Virtue was doing with his utility in his hands, it was actually taking a reaction or pulling a reaction from the players of BDS to actually look their way in through the vertical, but a G2 player on the other side would already have their gun trained on that angle. And so all of BDS sort of just got baited into taking these 1-to-1s that G2 was so ready for.
So ready for the 1v1s, like they've been so ready for Atlanta. Oh, what a gnarly opening kill for Alamau. So many ones going in favor of G2. And what a year it has been for G2. Not at all favorites in Montreal, and yet world champions nonetheless. Knocked out in quarterfinals in Copenhagen and barely scraping into the top 8 in Europe. Now already top 8 at the major. Uno is back on the squad, and they're looking better than ever.
And what we hoped was a close map is looking like it might be a G2 wipeout now on match point. Will take us over to Reading and Fireplace as potentially the final bomb side of choice for BDS. Looking to make their approach into the building are G2. They have leaned into some interesting stuff here. Benja picking along the Grim does make me think that they're looking to try and dislodge whatever defense has gone in through the top floor with some of that zoning utility, locking them out with the Lion, with the Dokkaebi. These are all operators that you bring along when you're looking to do a roam clear or when you're looking to make a pretty explosive entry in on the map where you don't want the info of the drones, but instead you want the active info of exactly where the positions are. Oh, there they go.
What is this from BDS? Very early. So many picks come through in their favor as G2 have a very pacey start to the rounds. Looking to close this game as quickly as possible. However, they make it look so doable. 2v2. Alamau steals another pick away from BDS.
Brede as well under the pump from the vertical, and a player inside of the horizontal take going into Reading. It's going to recall back Alems to try and help him out, but Brede, he's taken down so low.
Not a single mistake can be afforded. Doki finds a triple kill in the 1v1. Alems sends a few shots his direction, looking for the killing blow to push this map deeper for BDS. But 13 map win strikes. Is this the G2 dominance of old? Fire up! 7-2 on BDS's map. G2 take no prisoners.
And that is one way to make a statement coming into the Titan quarter-final between these two EU teams. 7-2. On BDS's map pick of all things, on what was a slow map, one that should have played into the playstyle of BDS, G2 show that they can match that.
G2 love to talk outside the server. BDS say they do their talking in it. And yet we saw them completely voiceless on Kafe. The French found 2 rounds of the 9 we played. G2 dominated here in North America, and they'll break it down on the analyst desk.
Yeah, you're darn right we will. Hey, how are we feeling about G2 right now, huh? I really didn't know which way this crowd was going to swing, but it looks like the current world champions have got Atlanta, and they're not letting go of it right now. What was that last Doki play? I was in the back, I missed it. Can you break it down for me?
Here's the thing, is when you've got the world champion team that has star fraggers from previous roster in every position, they're all going to be able to do that. And you saw Doki do it, him and Alamau recovering that round.
Oh yeah, his intuition read, you could see by his movement, he was playing it, he's like, oh, maybe he swung out pillar, maybe nobody swung pillar, the timing was just perfect, and he hit a crazy shot.
Feels like everything for G2 is coming to a head exactly what it needs to. BDS had this map for only 2 rounds. Yeah. They picked it, they decided this was the best case scenario, and yet G2, all they do is add to their win streak in Atlanta. They've yet to drop one still.
Yeah, and I think the big differential in this map particularly is the way these two play. BDS is kind of very default, it's very European, full pushes, and then hope that Leaky Fat can make something work on a lurk. Yeah. Maybe LMs can make something work, but again, relies on a lurk. And that's pretty much where BDS had their only success. G2 were very aware of that. Like I said, these teams know each other so intricately. So G2 4-2 up on the defense. Their analysts talked some smack at halftime as well. And then they backed it up with some excellent attacks. And I think what you saw from G2 was them bringing a little bit more pace, them splitting themselves across the map, and then just executed. And BDS, it's like they were fighting shadows at times. They just didn't know where G2 were.
Oh, you got it perfectly right. G2 obviously knew that BDS wanted to get into the map to get very comfortable. They were setting up, they weren't letting it happen unless they wanted BDS to waste a bunch of utility or waste bodies trying to get through G2's first defense. BDS ended up adapting, trying to send Licky Fact through the downstairs, try to find a pick, try to find an opening, but he wasn't able to find much. And then right towards the end of the defense, G2 understood that, pulled it back in. Obviously, the stats speak for themselves. Uno and Virtue themselves, both the support players going phenomenal.
Yeah. For the most part, it looks like everyone was relatively even, except what you called the 3-headed monster for BDS. because Renshiro's down here at 2-8, and it really didn't feel like he had much of a chance to wake up in this game.
Yeah, the rest of BDS couldn't even really get into the map in the first place on their attacks. That was the biggest thing. They couldn't get a step in. Especially Shaiko, I think a lot of people were maybe underwhelmed with the way that he played, besides that one round where he got 4 kills. We didn't see too much out of him, but that's not because BDS was playing bad. G2 was just playing perfectly into the counter of BDS's strategy.
Overall, first map, that's a real hard kicker if you're BDS, but if you're G2, you're feeling great.
Well, exactly. We saw them and we said, you know, if BDS are going to win this, they need to win their first 2 maps. They have to get it done in 2. And I think for G2, they knew Kafe was a little bit of a free hit because they should be taking Chalet, they should be taking Nighthaven. So I don't know where BDS is going to go from here because they've just been decimated on their own map. They've got to maybe throw some of the strat box out the window because G2 have that good of a read on BDS right now.
Well, right now they seem to be on what is a 6-map win streak, and they'll look to continue it on map number 2 because it doesn't really look like BDS are going to take much of anything, at least for right now. We'll see if G2 can do it in 2 or if we're heading to a map 3 when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, I'm Dominique Clément, game designer on Rainbow Six Siege. If you want to get ready to confront the next addition to the Siege roster, here are a few advice. Maverick's Flaming Gadget might be that one tool you can always rely on when it's time to melt through the enemy's defense. Training your sharpshooter skills, and more specifically, with gadgets like Zophia's Lifeline, will come in very handy when it comes to countering the effect of her fresh new face. Finally, it wouldn't be Siege if explosions didn't have an impact on your game. And this season is the perfect moment to review your frag throwing skills, because a well-placed bang might just be what you need to clear you and your team a path to victory. That's all for now, but make sure you tune in to the full reveal to get all the information on what's coming next season. See you there.
Hi, I'm Christopher Budget, Associate Game Director on Siege. Siege is a tactical game, and while there's no better way to learn than the hard way, we're working on various tools to help you train and level up your game. Next season comes Map Run, and while you'll have to wait to know more, I can already tell you you'll be able to train on your favorite maps, such as Clubhouse, Oregon, Bank, Consulate, Chalet, and Kafe. Map Run will also be the best tool to help you learn the new map coming this season. And whether you're playing solo or with a squad, jump into Map Run and train your aim and your skills, and you'll learn the new map. Your friends will thank you when you reach champion. So stay tuned for the reveal and learn more about the new map coming to Rainbow Six Siege.
Hello, my name is Cizin and I play for Sonics, and today I'm going to be playing Drone in the Unknown.
Oi, sou o JV92AW7M e hoje eu vou descobrir os drones aí que...
Hi guys, this is Boys from Team M80 and today I'm playing Drone in the Unknown.
どうも、スカーズ所属のピョンです。Drone in the Unknown.
My map knowledge, pretty good I'd say. I've been playing this game since I was like 11.
Eu acho que meu conhecimento de mapa é bom. Eu sempre posiciono uns dronezinhos aí pra galera matar. É, isso aí é fora do mapa do arranha-céu lá, Skyscraper.
That is a dragon on the map Skyscraper. The architect is giving it away that it's Skyscraper.
高層ビルだと思います。
I can just tell because of the kind of sculpture.
Acho que você está tudo, né? Tá fácil. Isso aí é mole.
Wait, what?
うわ、むずい。見たことないけどなんか見たことある。
I see a book. I'm pretty sure it's Kafe.
Isso aí é no café lá, pô. Isso aí, esse livrinho aí, ó. É no café.
Kafe.
Yeah, this is Skyscraper for sure. I say we're pretty good at Kafe, yes, I know that map. Yeah, okay, nah, got that one wrong. I see some anime books. I don't know what anime that is though. I want to say Skyscraper because I see like kind of the pattern on the wall.
背景。壁の。
Do lado da suíte lá, do Sky.
Skyscraper.
That's Skyscraper.
5 de 5 é muito fácil, cara. Isso aí, ó. Dá pra ver tudo, pô.
待って、どこだ
Yeah, I'll just go Chalet. Yeah, I have no idea.
It's so easy. Yeah. Fronteira, border. No... Arquivos?
Border.
This is, I think, border. I think it's in tellers.
もう分かったのは、上の。
The same thing here. I recognize the pattern in the ceiling.
Essa é difícil, pô.
The radio, I could tell just because of the knives and the stuff in the background, so quite an easy one.
They both have radios in the map, so it's Nighthaven or Consulate.
Vou chutar Chalet.
Basement on Clubhouse.
Nighthaven Lab.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say Consulate Garage.
Wow, okay. I was completely wrong. I just got done playing Drone in Unknown.
Had a lot of fun playing today.
全問正解。私だけでした
And yeah, see you guys at the major.
Torce pra dar pro seu time aqui, ó. Ó, vamos em busca do bicampeonato.
Undefeated in play-ins, undefeated in playoffs, and now undefeated for the moment in finals. G2 Esports are looking to knock over BDS, their home country, their home region rivals 2-0, because if they do, it not only gatekeeps BDS from SI, but guarantees that we see an SI Grand Final rematch as our first semifinal of tomorrow. The implications from this one are pretty nuts, gentlemen. Break it down for me.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, I bet it feels that much better if they can gatekeep them from invite.
Oh, yeah.
We had Titan in the back pretty much saying, fine, easier invite for us if we knock them out.
I mean, that's the thing. Especially, you know, if BDS go into any tournament, they're always going to be tipped at least somewhat to win the tournament. You can do yourself a favor for later down in Sao Paulo.
Talk about somebody who's been leading the ring so far, not just on Twitter, not just with his music choice or his hair choice. In the server, he is backing it up. We can't not specifically highlight Alamau right now. He's been lighting it up.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Alamau is that he has been the best player in this tournament. He was the best player in the tournament coming today. Another strong performance. But the one thing about Alamau is he is so pivotal to G2's success as he's IGLing them as well. So when he's on it, which he was at 6th Invitational. He wasn't on it in Copenhagen. He's back on it here. When he's on it on his day and just across the tournament, G2 are on it. And I think we're seeing the results of that.
Absolutely. He knows exactly when he needs to position himself aggressively, defensively, and also he doesn't mind taking a back seat. We saw that first map. they let pretty much Uno and Virtue, the way that G2 was set up against BDS, they always let their support players be able to pretty much clean house, just because Alamau was going for that aggressive fight to go for the 1-for-1, because he knew that if he got that, he'd put his team in a much better situation.
And he might not have gotten on with him that well, but Alamau is kind of taking a Fabian role within this team, where he's making it all about himself. And when you do that, when you make it all about yourself, and he's talking the smack, he's dyeing his hair, he's putting the chains on, and he's really trying to be the big personality, brings all attention onto him. That allows every other player to take the pressure off them. And the one player that's benefiting particularly is Benjamaster, because he had a lot of focus put on him after that 6th Invitational run. Struggled inside of EUL, struggled at Copenhagen Stage 2. But now, there's pressures off that guy. Everyone's talking about Alamau and they want to, and he's flourishing.
There's also no pressure on G2 right now because they just won their opponent's pick. They're going into Chalet. They opted for this map in the series. Meanwhile, we got to find some recourse for BDS because there needs to be some positive. Otherwise, we don't just want to call this thing done and dusted after just 2 maps, right?
No, absolutely not. Obviously, if you can get a good, solid step-by-step to get onto Chalet, that's one way to go for it. Obviously, BDS showed a lot of life in the last map. They took a lot of their time. They were playing from outside the map. There was some rounds that they were able to shut down Doki on the aggressive plays. There's going to be a lot of aggressive plays on Chalet.
All right. Do you think we need a map 3? Or is this just G2 rolling over them, hook, line, and sinker?
I have a feeling G2 are going to get this done 2-0.
Yeah.
2-0?
I agree. I think G2 gets a 2-0.
I don't know. Georgia, what are we thinking? 2-0 for G2? You guys are biased as all heck. You saw them win in SI. That's it. That's all they did was win 1 tournament. Are they going to win 2-0? We'll have Dev and Manny take us through this bad boy because I got a feeling we might need a little bit more than just map 2. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Jacob. And I do hope you're right. BDS have shown that they deserve to be taken seriously. However, they've lost 2 significant matches, 2 big upsets already in this tournament. And I don't think that this would be an upset if G2 were to win, but it would certainly be a disappointment and a devastation for BDS, not only being knocked out of this major, but also being denied 6 Invitationals.
Yeah, I think it cannot be understated just how important this match is for BDS. So far, fate is still in their hands as we send our way into map 2, but it could be taken away by G2.
It could well be taken away by G2 on Chalet, as it is G2's very own map pick. BDS starting out on the defensive side, and this social prediction continues to slip away from the French. But here in the United States of America, G2 look to do it in 2-0. Let's get into map 2. BDS caught sleeping on Kafe. It's time to get on their skis and wake up for map number 2. No second chances now. They will need to run the gauntlet, win here on Chalet, and take us to Nighthaven Labs to determine the outcome of this matchup. But G2, they have no such thing in mind. They're looking as calm as ever and keen to take this 2-0.
G2 will be the one starting out on the attack this time around, though. Going into Chalet, I have a feeling they'll be pretty confident on it as well. It seems like, especially off the back of the last map, that G2 have really done some crazy prep work against what BDS are bringing. It didn't feel like BDS had any answers to the unpredictability that G2 brought.
But, however, the Dokkaebi has been taken down by BDS. We saw both teams use it to full effect on Kafe, and it is a relentless way of clearing those roamers. The Azami being taken down as well does leave a lot of these power positions exposed.
Yeah, that being said, but a lot of the really strong defense operators have still been left in. You've got your Solus, you've got your Fenrir, all these kinds of really strong tools that the defense can use on the side of BDS. Not just that, but I mean, all your walls now. Castle can still be a substitute a little bit, not quite for the Azami, but BDS have still got the tools that they need on the defense.
Even the potential for mirror windows, should they opt to go for it. Shaiko looking with the same expression on his face as we see every single round of every single game. He does not reveal much in his facial expressions. The opposite can be said for G2, and I tell you what, if you know these guys, you can tell that they are looking primed and ready. They are in their flow state, and they are focused and ready to take it in 2 maps.
Basement bomb site for BDS as they look to extend the map a little bit. In the aid of the castle, of course, he is going to create a safer haven over on the second floor. It does look like they are extending their way all the way over inside of dining as well. So really, BDS, straight off the bat, holding on to a lot of the map. It's pretty ambitious what they're trying to do here, especially going down into the basement now. We've got a full repick on the side of G2 as well. Ram and Buck being picked out does make me think that G2 probably want to at least get some of a grip hold onto the vertical game.
With BDS being ambitious in their map control, if G2 are able to sneak in with the lurk and find isolated 1v1s, it could well collapse the entire defense for BDS. Already very swift. 20 seconds into the round, a breach on Snowmobile, Voltable. The main castle barricade on lobby, taken down. Options available for G2 in abundance.
Yeah, but that's just the site pressure. What else have G2 been able to do in this time? It seems like they've had a thought about the top floor, and actually Alamau's not just having a think, but is actually making his way in instead. He is the buck, and while there is a player rounding the corner of that's Leaky Pack who's been droned out.
Spray through the wall, almost finds his life as these G2 players look to hunt Leakafak. The smoke, a player you want alive in the late round. Where has he gone to? Sneaking back onto the blue stairs. He's forfeited so much map control. Mandy, this push has been incredibly fast from G2.
Yeah, that's what happens when you bring Buck on Chalet, but some really nice shots in through the line of sight. Through dining does mean that it actually goes a one-to-one way trade between these two teams.
G2 should be happy with the one-to-one on Kafe. They continually forced early engagements to make these rounds in the late. Very 2v2, very 3v3. That's how they want to play this game.
The main thing here is that it has forced back one layer of the onion of the defense for BDS. They now have to fall back in towards the bomb side. Who goes Leaky Fack, and the blue stairs holding this aggressive with the shotgun in hand. But now G2 have what they want, and that's the vertical pressure with the Ram and with the Buck. And they can really start to tear up the floor and then look for a conversion into the site from there.
All in good time, though. Looking for these roamers first. Making sure that there are none left and making sure that nobody can re-aggress up these stairs. But here comes the Ram, activating the boogie. A C4 does take down the first one, but no player, which was surely the hopeful target for BDS. And the player, the floor is completely mincemeat. Uno finds the opener on the Shaiko from the bottom of main stairs as G2 are poised to take it.
They're looking to take this one. It's now or never for G2 with 40 seconds left to go, and the bomb site's so vacated by BDS, they can hit it, but Renshiro is there on the other side to meet them.
Oh, but amidst the fire, he is forced on back as Uno looks to force this diffuser down onto the ground. Doki, separated from his squad, is taken down by Breed A. And now a retake is forced by BDS, and the numbers are quality. As Uno jumps straight back outside, he amounts a very solid post-plant position. Virtue to clean up Breed A, and this feels, if anything, a formality. BDS look to stick it. Can Uno deny this in time? Renshiro, you can't be getting away with this! BDS! They've stolen the first round of Chalet!
Renshiro has absolutely thieved away that round from G2. Uno was in the perfect post-plant position with the hard recharge he'd set up with the firebolt, but it just missed. Renshiro, maybe he's a firefighter, but he stole that one away by getting the ninja defuse that G2 could have never expected.
G2 dominated the mental game in map number 1, but that has sure got to hurt the ego in map 2. BDS have a lot to talk about because strategically, G2 won that round, and then Renshiro stole it away from them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Renshiro on the dock was like, why be a doctor when you can be a firefighter? And he went his way on and through the fire and the flames, and he managed to get the defuse off and stole that one. Poor G2. I mean, they had that to a T. They did the roam clear to perfection, but at the last hurdle, they fell.
That's the energy that BDS will need more of throughout this series. Down a map, their own map. They got to choose defense here on Chalet, and they're showing us why. However, just one round in, there's so much still to play here, and like we said, Mandy, G2 look damn good on these attacks.
Yeah, and BDS as well on the defense, though on the other side. They have really assembled the superpowers of the defense. You've got the Mirror, the Fenrir, and the Solace all being picked up by members of BDS now. G2, though, they do have a bit of an answer for it. They have got the Twitch in the hands of Alamau. They've got the ranged hard breach they need to deal with some of those mirror windows as well. It's just about whether G2 can actually land the utility clear that they need.
There's a lot of players to clear as well. Oh, here comes the Twitch drone from Alamau. Does he time it perfectly? Does he have the aim? He does! One mirror window dismantled 35 seconds into the round. We love to see that for G2 fans. However, Doki going down without a fight was certainly not on your bucket list.
Bit brave there from Doki, hopping into the mirror window of a Lems that were not quite opened. Renshiro on the other side of his mirror window there is though thinking, wait a second, that's open now. Uno though taking a bit of tussle of a player on the top floor. That's LeakyFack who's now going to fall back to the safety of the mirror window in storage.
He really is trapped here in stock now. Benja, oh, he's caught in the crossfire. What was that communication? Renshiro was already holding that position, and he's just missed a second G2 player sneaking his way towards Bar. It is Alamau, and he's looking for one.
Alamau knows though, that mirror window is open off, but he looks away, and Renshiro can behead him.
Very swiftly do G2 fall in this second round. Virtue, no diffuser, almost no HP to work with, and Renshiro cuts him down. 3 kills for one of the most experienced players in the game, for the oldest player at the tournament. He shuts everyone down on the back of his ninja diffuse. He's sending G2 a message.
BDS playing a very disciplined game through the mid-round. They know that G2 want to make that incision into the map somewhere, and they know that they have the safety of the mirror windows. They're watching all the possible entry points as G2 try to cut their way in straight through the ground floor. They really cut corners there, I feel, on the defense that BDS had brought to the table.
It's the exact start that BDS needed to bring that momentum back in their favor. However, from G2, they look to flip that momentum now with a tactical timeout. 3 rounds into the game. Now with their new coach, Romalio, formerly of FaZe, the most sought-after coach in Rainbow Six, surely they have what they need to turn this around.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. This guy is by far and away the most strong strategic coach, I would say, in the scene at the moment. G2 have said some pretty high praises about this guy, and who do you want to listen to in a tactical timeout? It's definitely that guy.
There's no doubt about it. Romalio will need to whip his kids into shape and get G2 back onto it. Because, I mean, the first round was so good until the final dying moments in that post plant. The second round was abysmal from the get-go for G2. And that will have built a lot of confidence into BDS. The onus now on G2 to flip this on its head and start taking some attack round wins. We're on Chalet. This is one of the more attacker-sided maps in the pool. G2 should be pretty comfortable here.
Well, I think the thing is, Dev, it sort of doesn't matter what map it is these days. Even the attacker-sided ones in history have now become defender-sided with the current meta. G2 really need to dial this one back, put some respect on the defense that BDS have brought up and actually try and problem solve it. It does seem like that is what they're going to do. We've got a full switch off the roam clearing operators and your entry operators, and all of them have gone this self-sufficient utility to try and help with the clear. We've got the range hard breach, double range hard breach on Uno and on Virtue to try and clear the mirror windows. Alamau as well with the Twitch trade is going to make them worry about that. Benja even has jumped onto the floor to clear out any of the Fenrir gadgets, that type of thing that is indestructible to bullets. And so G2 really want to cut down on the pacing there, take it slow and break it down.
And in goes that Twitch drone once again for Alamau. Bombsite is down in Bar, which means that a pivotal part of this defense remains above in Library. We see the Wamai of LeakyFack holding that position at the moment. He sends out a Diz. He goes for an aggressive peek, but a player repelling. Doki opens the equation, and that's a very, very early player to lose for BDS.
Brave from LeakyFack as well. He could have made us fall off work through the hatch, but instead tried to go for the peak, but G2 are ready for that. Renshiro on the other side has just heard his mirror window shatter right next to him, and that means Alamau has successfully taken that one down. Brede, though, he wants to support his teammate from down below.
Very good start here for G2. It goes bad to worse for BDS. Doki's found his second. Alems finally gets one back in his favor. Virtue's gone down. That's the hard breach as well, but not the diffuser. Uno can still support with those X-Kairos, but the real travesty here for BDS is this map control! And I was going to say the numbers, but Shaiko's brought that back in their favor.
Alamau being caught in the Shadow Realm over inside of lobby. He's got to back his way on out, trying to go for the reflag on the player inside of Dining, but not quite landing it. Shaiko on the other side with the 1x. He's been absolutely lethal in this round, but Brede's been taken down.
A swift entry for G2 might bring it back, and Alems goes down as well. If you blink, you miss it. G2 do not hesitate. They swing into action and convert their tactical timeout into a round win.
Good pivot there from G2. They had the top floor control that they needed, but off the back of Shaiko getting his own 2 picks and bringing the man advantage back to even, G2 had to dial it back for a moment, get some drones in, and have a think about the defense, the attack that they wanted to amount. And the moment that they got the pick onto Bride inside the bomb site, it was go time for them. They jumped in on it straight away and closed out the round.
And that may well have switched the momentum here for G2. They know that if they play a very spry game, very eager to capitalize on a singular window, look for a site opportunity and send it, that can catch BDS off guard. It looks like, if I'm not wrong, we may end up going back to that same bomb site. And I think that BDS have a lot of things to take away from that round. Too many players too early on falling victim to over-aggression, gifting G2 opportunities. And that's the last thing you want to do.
That being said, I really liked the approach that G2 took to that round. They put some respect on the defense of BDS and actually took their time to sit back and problem solve it and tear it apart. And it looks like G2 are once again bringing along the same formula going back into this reattempt at the bomb site as well. Doki's even re-picked up onto the Grim as well to make that position in the corner of Library even harder to play in for the player that's there, but actually Renshu's fallen off it completely. They've completely reinforced the Library hatch actually, so BDS, even though they're going back to the same bomb site, they have changed up their strategy quite significantly.
Yeah. Forcing G2 now to adapt. G2 failed to clear this map control from where Renshiro and Shaiko are playing now in the prior round, but this Library presence has been gifted to them.
That being said, Library is not a safe haven for the attack. It's a false sense of security, right? You've got Shaiko in here with the shield in the hallway and the line of sight going inside a Library. So even though Doki just got in, he's jumped straight back out because he's realized what's going on. Alamau on the other side is at least going to try and get a cutoff over on this side of the map inside of Fluke Double, but is not going to find anything just yet. Shaiko is safe where he is, but I wonder what Benja's doing, right? He's the one with the Rotero drones, and if there's anyone that could clear the shields, surely it would be the Flores.
He's yet to use any of them, however. You look at the setup from BDS and you'd think it was a master defense, but no, in fact, it's his bar. And now that G2 have realized the lack of control from BDS, it seems like they may be changing tack. They have no interest in clearing that top floor pressure from BDS.
So they realize that yes, Library has been given away to them, but they can't enter. So what are they going to do instead? Turn their attention in towards the bomb site. See if they can find a hole in the ground floor rather than a hole in the top floor. And that's where Alamau's drone is getting his way on in, and he's going to try and cut down on the player inside of Dining and afford G2 the control they need in the ground floor.
Well, the Grim has tempted out something from G2 near the site. Benja's pulling into a goo mine as Uno makes his way forward. Is this how G2 look to make it work? Aggressive and straight into sight for Uno, who has that diffuser in his clutches. Caught amidst the Fenrir's gas, though. He will have to try and hold on, but he's one of the last players left for G2. As BDS have retaken to perfection, Uno can cover his own backside, but not before Shaiko makes it a 1v1. Can he close it? One of the greatest players in the game. But Uno back on G2 does not let that slide.
And Uno was the opportunity maker there for G2 in the absence of the top floor control that they were initially looking for. The tentative conclusion that Uno had was, hang on a second, I can jump in through the dungeon window and get straight on into the bomb site, with Alamau covering him as well from the lobby double, making sure that no one could take him on the cross as he went into the bomb site. He took down the one player he needed and the Fenrir gadgets to then get the plant down and close it out for his team in the post.
And this is exactly what they were talking about on the desk. When you have a star-studded roster, the best fraggers of all of these amazing teams of the past, and you put the 5 of them together on G2, what do you get? You get Uno, this support player carrying that diffuser who can frag out for 2 kills in a clutch when he's needed.
G2 have had a bit of a cycle through that 5th man through 2023. After lifting the hammer at SI, they actually dropped Blur and they went between Gemini and eventually they landed on Uno, and I feel like it's that 5th piece of the puzzle that they've needed to solve their play style and make sure that they have this one reliable old guard doing the right thing, looking for the opportunities, and being comfortable on the supporting role where the rest of the players can frag their way on out.
Well, Mandy, the game opened, the map opened with 2 rounds straight from BDS, and now G2 have done the same back. Does put the pressure way back onto the French to bring this back. And going down to the basement He's a scary prospect in my eyes. G2 had a phenomenal attack onto this bomb site. BDS only barely won it to Renshiro's Ninja Diffuse heroics.
LML's having a look in through the top floor to start things out, and he has seen the rotation hole here, so he knows that there is a bit of a presence inside a closet. That's Leakyfac on the other side. He's also in support of his teammate Shaiko over inside of Mezzanine as well, so LML's got to be careful on his entry into the building.
I love the way that the rotate hole has been made, so there's a tiny lip at the bottom, forcing the drone to jump and reveal its position should it pass through. Leakyfac finds it. Alamau's looking for an entry on the bark. Leakyfac, he's feeling all kinds of pressure. Caught in the crossfire, Doki hunts him down.
Oh, but Shaiko's going in for the refrag. With the death of his teammate, he wants to claim one back, and he gets revenge onto Alamau.
And now G2 will look to hunt him. Benja coming in from Library. Doki on the opposite side of the map. They look to pinch together, but he's fallen off. Shaiko has escaped G2's clutches and fallen back to side.
It's a great time sink. Not only that, but he's also taken down the Bucks. So one of the two of the vertical operators that G2 had previously when they went in for this attack. They only have the Ram now of Virtue to rely on full vertical control. Now, I think that's enough. It probably should be with 3 Mars rovers on the ground. Surely he can sample enough of the floor, but he's on the other side of the map. G2 are dialing it back right now through the mid-round, setting up the flank drones, making sure that they are safe in the top 2 floors for now.
This feels slow by G2's standards. BDS have completely forfeited the map, and yet G2 have not yet confirmed it. As they look to get this vertical play going, losing the bark forces Benja to use some of his breaching rounds, but he can't secure a kill on the back of it. Shaiko lives to fight another day. Doki rotates in. He has the hard breach to open up this con hatch, and elsewhere he's managed to use his bees to get some information on side. Spots a lens. There's Benja for one, and a numbers back in G2's favor.
Yeah, now with the 4-on-3 numbers advantage, G2 are going to look to convert this one, but the bravery of the BDS players is relentless. Even though the vertical pressure has come through, Shaiko is still running a havoc down in the bomb site. G2 need to take their time to plan out this execute phase well, but they can only go for it once. Oh, look at that from BDS, a double retake through the blue stairs.
And Shaiko's found one to drop down the hatch for Benja Master, but it's just him and Doki now. Bride low HP. Benja's caught out from the player in blue. The trade back again. It is relentless. Bride to clutch the 1v1. Back-to-back 1v1s. Leakyfac exhibiting all kinds of stress. I don't blame you, mate. BDS, though, have taken the lead once again.
Really nice stuff there from BDS. I feel like the fruits of the early round were really played out into the late round there. As soon as the vertical pressure came in through G2, it was good, but it wasn't enough. And then by the time that the time had ticked away to about 20-25 seconds left to go, BDS had already repositioned into all the blind spots on the vertical and were ready to take the engagements as they came in onto the bomb site. Shaiko in particular, sitting right at the bottom of the main stairs going down into the basement, was so ready for the fight and the onslaught to come through that he could take them down.
G2, I don't know whether there's cause for concern here, but they are looking slower, Mandy, and I think we're starting to see the downside of lacking that Dokkaebi. BDS, they banned it out. They themselves love to use it, as did G2. If Shaiko had a logic bomb, he would certainly not have been able to go for that aggressive peak. But G2, they are adaptable, and they are so spry. Benja brought that back. The same can be said for Doki in those dying moments, almost winning the 1v1. Doki won his clutch to win the first map, but he couldn't win it to take the lead here on the second.
BDS as well looking really solid in their final defending round. I'm going to take us over to Kitchen. Over on the ground floor, it looks like they have extended their way out horizontally over into games as well. 2 players there. Leakyfac, actually, it looks like he's ready to jump out of the library window, I believe it is. Yeah, right on it. Ready for the entry to come through from G2.
Claymore's being placed by G2. Don't over-aggress. Do so at your own risk. Leakyfac's so keen to peek this, though. Upside down rappel is nigh impossible to contest. On the other side of it, he looks for the player. Leakyfac, very ambitious, but Uno's waiting and can easily take him down. Another gifted early pick by Leakyfac.
G2 had to read on that one. Uno in particular. If there is any difference maker, if there is any playmaker on the defense for BDS, it is going to be Leakyfac, and he is the one looking for the opportunities to take one-to-one gunfights. But that time around, Uno was ready for it.
The top floor has been forfeited by BDS, allowing G2 to roll on in with those Mars Rovers and Doki to find one onto Bride as well. You're talking about plays, Mandy. Well, keep an eye out for Alems. As the E1D locks him in place, there's some information that Alems needs to land this. He's so patient. He's in the hallway, just waiting. Benja is aware though.
Ooh, Renshiro, though, he's been able to afford himself a little bit more room, wiggle room inside the bomb site to send out one more C4 in through the vertical now. These Mars Rovers, they can only claim so much of the floor, and so Alamau's going to have to come in, supplementary soft breach to open up a little bit more and make sure that the players on the bomb site are well and truly dislodged. But Alems is making his move.
Oh, he still hasn't been dealt with. There's a drone, but it's not lit up. As he rounds the corner, he's good for one. A second one tags him on his way out, but it is not enough to breathe a sigh of relief for G2. Alems looks for a second, dancing with death! He finds Doki! It's all up to Uno now, rappelling on inside. He finds the first. Renshiro's the last one left, and G2 know full well Alems has been downed above, and this plant may well be forced. Renshi does not have a C4, and he's gonna have to run a marathon to get back to 1 versus 1 and retake against Uno. He runs straight on through. He's gonna go pick up Alems. He's gonna go to save his teammate. There's barely any time for this, Mandy.
Oh, Uno's got it though. He's gone up to the top floor as well. He's had to think, okay, the vertical pressure is there for him and he wants to make use of that territory as well. Alems is definitely gonna bleed on out here. There's no way, but Renshiro's just around the corner. Are they going to meet each other?
Time favors Uno, but fortune favors the brave, and Renshiro made such a brave play. I think he may have made the wrong play as he desperately looks around the corner. He does a bit of damage. Uno is gonna get him. G2 is gonna steal another round. 1v3 from Uno. Cool, calm, collected, and closing the half, even on the scoreboard.
And where the rest of his team had fallen around him, Uno knew that he could close that one out. He had the diffuser in hand and the one kill onto the one player that was actually defending the bomb site. He absolutely beheaded him, jumped his way on in, got the bomb down, and Renshiro had completely vacated the bomb site with the presence of the vertical onto his position and forced him into a retake that Uno played to perfection. He played the time so well and even closed it out with a pick of his own.
Uno stepped up hugely in that round. The game was over. After Alems found his early pick, you thought it was surely done. But in the dying moments, there was an opportunity, and Uno said, I will take that opportunity. Desperate, you usually write those rounds off, but when it's Uno, you certainly can't. Wow, some nuts shots from Alems. Uno timed this perfectly. He used his util perfectly, and he closed the round. Now we move into the second half. G2 fans are once again given something to cheer for. Here in Atlanta, BDS need 4 more rounds to send us to map 3, but G2 need the same to propel themselves into a semi-final.
G2 as well, they're going to take us over to the Master and Office bomb site. We didn't see BDS do this at all on their half.
No, we didn't. A dangerous bomb site to go for at the high level of competitive play. Very common in ranked and in lower levels of comp, but as soon as you go to that world-class level of Rainbow Six, only daring teams take this top floor bomb site. G2, well, they're one of the most daring teams you can find, but Likafak has snuck his way inside. No grenades on the Yana, so no vertical capability, but he does have potential to cause havoc.
That being said, 2 of his teammates do have grenades. Finka, being gifted her set at the moment, is going to send some in through the floor. That's Shaiko to try and burn one onto the position inside of Mezzanine.
Wow.
Doesn't connect quite onto Alamal though. It takes a little bit of its HP out, but not down. Oh, that goes Leaky back in through the vertical. He lands a couple shots onto Virtue as well, who will put some down in return, but doesn't quite connect them.
It's a devilish dance for BDS. Into the map, but not with any substantial control as Shaiko finally takes down Alamau. With that, should he get the information, Mezzanine is clear, and he's free to jump inside. Doki is still prevalent on this roam, and this drone has also been spotted. He's going to make his way around and try and dodge that position. You can see that it's not lit up. He knows this is his moment. Oh, Lems is going to walk straight into Doki's waiting arms.
Oh man, Doki's just absolutely assassinated Lems there on the basement entry, but the rest of BDS don't seem too phased by it so far. Sharko is going to head the attack on the entry, is making his way in all the way in through the glass cabinet hallway, but the time is certainly starting to tick away as they make their way in around the bomb site. It is Master and Office, of course, and Bride. Well, they don't actually have any hard reach on their side, so if they want to go for the main wall, they can't. What are they going to do here, our BDS? They need to come up with a game plan to get themselves inside of the bomb site without actually working the wall.
Oh, Virtue, this is dangerous. He was flashed for a brief moment. That flash may have saved a life or two, and he forfeits his own, re-peeking now. Uno goes down. It is up to Doki and Uno the Mirror, but Uno's been finished off. 2 players remain for BDS to lock in this round, but guess who it is on defense? It's Doki. He's got this gadget, the perfect utility you need! One impact finds nothing! The bed, a safe haven for Bride. But HP not in abundance. A second impact! Doki, you've got to be kidding me! Doki is a beast that cannot be tamed! Plenty of time for G2 to secure the round! This guy's a hero!
And what an impact through this floor as well from Doki. He just anticipated the game sense on this guy to just send an impact through the floor onto some random spot inside of Solar, and bang, there's a low HP Bride taken down. And he can claim that one back with a crazy 1 versus 2 comeback.
That's payback for round 1 troll, he says in the old chat. You guys can't see that. But man, I tell you what, BDS, there's got to be some fire spit between these players at the moment. How many rounds have been close, Mandy? We've had 2 1 versus 1s. One has gone in favor of either team. And then the last 2 rounds in a row. Uno with the 1v3 clutch. Doki with the 1v2 clutch. G2 keep pulling these rounds out of their ass, and BDS have no response.
It is by the smallest margins that separate these 2 teams in this map. You can never call the round early, Dev. You never know what is going to happen because anything could turn it on a dime.
G2 have now taken the lead in this second half. A round that they really shouldn't have won, but as you said, you can never count them out. BDS, my concern for them is how much of a toll does this take on the mental? They are yet to take their tactical timeout. G2 took theirs very early on in the game after losing the first 2 rounds, and it netted them the next 2 rounds in a row. So clearly, Romalio has had a profound impact on G2, converting this momentum back into their favor. Why has Stuflex not done the same there?
Let BDS figure this one out for themselves for a little bit longer. It's only 1 round lead that G2 have got for now. They're not running away with it just yet. The bomb site this time around is over in Dining and Kitchen, and it does look like G2 have extended their way over in through the top floor, but not out too far inside of Library. On the other side though, BDS on the attack are having a think about a more direct take. They're not sweeping across the map, but instead are trying to get themselves in close towards the bomb site to see what grenades they can sail on through and look for those untraded picks.
The key here for BDS is not to be scared. Oh, that's frustrating for Shaiko, struggling to take down that castle barricade. It's a fickle affair. Alamau finds an aggressive peek, the impact surely to secure it, but it falls flat. Doki off aggressive jump out elsewhere does secure the kill, but that opens the door for Leakafact to find his way straight into sight. Alamau comes back to save the day, it seems. Leakafact's found a double. But G2 are incessant, and they continue to fight for this bomb site control.
BDS trialing it back as well. Uno on the other side has an in through the hatch, but just on the other side of that as well is Renshiro on the double window, and if Uno steps too far out, surely he's going to be taken down. Okay, maybe not. Renshiro's actually just fallen off of that position, and that means that Uno's safe for now, but the vertical control is still in the hands of him. And that's going to be dangerous as BDS rendezvous over inside of Trophy and try and make their way into the bomb site.
And this is the danger zone for BDS. Oh, excellent usage of an exothermic from Leakafact. Forces Alamau into an exposed position, but he has not been spotted. He lurks around the corner in the shadows, biding his time, waiting for the sound cue. But he has no clue where these players from BDS are. Leakafact playing incredibly passively. Virtue's low HP as well, though. The door has once again been left open for BDS.
This is dangerous though. Renshiro has to keep these vertical players at bay because otherwise the diffuser cannot walk his way in the bomb site.
no.
And there goes Breeday to make his way on in, but Virtue's there for the trade.
Likafak needs to find his kill. Renshiro gets aggressive and finishes off what's left of Virtue. Guess who's on side for G2? After 2 clutches in a row, it's up to Slim Shady to make quick work of this round. Alamau can play it patient. He can hide in the corner knowing full well BDS must make the first move. But Alamau, he may well get the last laugh. Shotgun! He does it again! G2 will never be silenced!
And Alamau can take care of business. In the dying seconds of the round, BDS looked to pivot over in the top floor, but they forgot that Alamau could run havoc on the bomb site, and with the absence of the intel going in, they left it to his own device, and he closed it out on the 1-on-2.
Well, after 3 clutches in a row, we've got Titan, G2's analyst, back on the line. Titan, how are you feeling about this game?
It's much closer than we maybe initially anticipated it would be, but we expected it to be sort of like a give and go kind of map, 1 round each for each team. Realistically, I mean, you've shown the quality of the players that we have on our team, the ability to clutch, the ability to keep their cool when they need to. Doki, Carl, Uno, everybody is stepping up right now for us, the team.
And so if these clutches stop happening, is there cause for concern for G2? Are you relying on these clutches, or are you confident in these players' abilities aside from that?
If the clutches stop, it's fine, it's okay. Realistically, what we're seeing here after timeout from Amalio is a slight change and alteration in the way that we play. We're taking it more of sort of like a individual round-by-round basis rather than anything in terms of preparation work or assumptions, and the knock-on effect of that is just simply the players are able to sort of make these closer rounds and slower.
And what are you thinking about BDS in their current form?
I mean, they're doing better on this map than the last one. They've got another round, they're making it closer, but still a bit disappointing.
Okay, thank you very much, Titan. Disappointed. Not a word I expected to hear from the analysts of a team who is, frankly, smashing their opposition.
Surprising. I mean, maybe Titan just knows something that we clearly do not. I mean, he is the analyst, he is the expert, but between the two of us, I was expecting a pretty close match and a tight one between these two. I see you.
Shaiko may well find the opener. No, he can't get the kill. Oh, frustrating. Doki's fallen on back. And Doki's, in fact, re-aggressed and found his head. Devastation once again for BDS, but there is a trade of sorts. Likafak, lucky he used his Adrenal Surge. He's looking to get aggressive. He might find an opportunity here as BDS goes straight into the meat grinder. Virtue traded finally, but it's not going to be enough for BDS. Alems, the captain, 1v3. Can we see the heroics from him that we've seen from G2? 3 rounds now in a row.
Very little HP though for Alems.
Incredibly low HP. But he must be patient. He might have the read, he might have the info, he might have heard both of these players from G2. Nobody needs to make a move. A faked C4, ripped for Uno, a stun, and a peek now. The opportunity open! But the door smashes closed on his face. Uno once again stepping up for G2.
Yeah, BDS, they're trying to cut their way straight into the bomb site, having seen the roam game being played by G2. But on the other side of that was a very cheeky Uno over inside of Connector, completely shutting them down on their push on their way in. And that's going to force BDS to take their tactical timeout and have a rethink about what they're going to do next.
Taking their tactical timeout at 6-3 down. Match point, series point, elimination point, and saying goodbye to 6 Invitational. For BDS, it does not get much worse than this. Stuflex has to make good on this minute that he gets with his roster because there's no second chances now. This is 3 match points in a row for G2.
And the problem here for G2 as well is they're in exactly the right mindset to close this one out as well. Typically once you get onto match point, I don't know, sometimes players get really nervous, right? Sometimes they don't go in for those aggressive plays that they normally would because you don't want to make a mistake. But G2, the current mindset that they're in is just exuding confidence against BDS, who just haven't quite looked as good, even in the second map.
And it's so many heroic plays from G2 that steal it away. A lack of refrag in Virtue's position, a valiant attempt by Alems. But G2 once again show their mettle. Is there anything left in it for BDS? That's my question on the back of that tactical. They need to get themselves on their feet in this game. Because we've barely seen a shade of the BDS that won a major in Sweden a year ago.
Well, they have to do it now. It's now or never for BDS. This is map point and series point for G2. If they don't come back from here, it is over. G2, they're going to take us over to what is potentially the final defense of the series over in Office and Master. They're looking to extend themselves over horizontally, a little bit over inside of a library, but all not too much.
And Doki finds an opening kill once again on the same goddamn window that he spawn picked Shaiko previously. Is there anything left in it for BDS? Where are they? They've fallen asleep. They're letting G2 run all over them.
It's looking pretty grim now for BDS. Haven't lost the spearhead of their attacks. It's Shaiko, the entry player that's been oh so consistent for them, that has been taken down now twice by Doki, who's been absolutely the bane of this game. This is his series. 12-7 now is the scoreline for him as he tries to make it even better. Look at how much caution BDS are exercising now. Renshio's all the way out, essentially in spawn.
Swapping mags! Scared for BDS, perhaps. For G2, though, calm, collected, no reason to over-aggress. Perfectly technical. No fire that will burn too bright.
Bomb has been located.
BDS, the move is on them, and G2 can simply wait.
Ben just got to vacate his position, having felt the vertical pressure from down below, but he's found a safe haven inside the hallway. Meanwhile, on the other side, BDS is having a look in onto the bomb site to see what he can find, and Benja can claim one back onto a lens. That was a player down in the basement, but here goes Leaky back in through the other side of the map.
BDS players fall one by one. A nice nade from Renshiro, but Benja has relocated from that position already. And still, G2 can simply wait. This is desperation. You see that from Renshiro. No information, desperate. Leakafak looking for an early pick, but G2's not peeking him as of yet. As I say that, he gets poorly timed, and Doki might be able to swipe him away.
Great discipline here from G2. The only person looking for a peek has been Doki, but here goes Renshi on his entry in. Oh, really nice stuff there from Leaky, from Renshi, and from BDS. All three players have lit the spark for BDS and have brought it back.
The fire is still alive for the French. Benja 1v3, but you can never count out G2. Could it be another clutch? How many have we seen? Too many to count. BDS, oh, hold your horses. Benja is ready to take the ones. The diffuser is down, but the Dane must 1v2.
He's looking for it, but BDS are not giving it to him.
And so he will wait. Move up slowly. Isolate these 1v1s. He has the information on Renshiro. He looks to get aggressive. Renshi's ready. He baits out the swing from BDS, but nothing as of yet from BDS. They will not give him an opportunity. And they will close the door back on his face again. BDS are not done yet. The first of 3 match points has been staved off, but it is a long mountain that they must climb to push us onto map 3.
BDS still want to be part of the conversation. And that 5 versus 3 could change the dialogue. All 3 BDS players finding their pick all at the same time onto the G2 players who, just as I said, were playing the discipline game, actually all went for their own peak onto the remaining 3 players, and BDS able to claw that one back.
Fresh on desk, what a chance. Former G2 analyst himself. Now we get to use that big brain on our broadcast, lucky us. For BDS, if you're a BDS fan right now, man, do they need you? Yeah, they do. 2 more to push overtime, and even then, the job is not done. In fact, it's barely started. Nighthaven Labs could be our decider. Titan was ever so confident about this map veto. He told us just a couple of rounds ago, he was in disbelief that BDS would shake G2 on these maps. And, well, with the result, I can't blame him for the confidence. G2 may be cocky, but you can't blame him if they're so dominant.
Another match point stands between BDS though and G2 as they really want to close out this one swiftly. Back down inside of Dining and Kitchen, G2 have sent us to, and it looks like they are looking for an extension over in the top floor. Shield is going to prevent the entry in through Lyrie, making sure it's not safe to traverse in through the map on a sweep. Pretty similar actually to what BDS brought on their defense as well. They might find a taste of their own medicine.
Here comes the Gon 6, clearing out that castle barricade. Good options opened now for BDS, but Benja is still happy to peek it.
BDS want to keep their options open here. They have turned their attention very much in towards the Solar side. There are 4 players having a look at on that. Renshaw as well is looking for the pinch all the way over inside of Office to make that entry work too. Oh, but that's shut down completely. Uno with the super shorty is going to take it straight onto Renshiro, the only player there, and it goes untraded.
A big pick for G2, but another one! Bride finally opens the equation for BDS. Shaiko's in a great position as well. Alems looking to hunt down Alamau, who's already stolen his teammate, and he finds the kill. Back to a numbers even. Shaiko finds his kill onto Benja, but goes down for his trouble. He gets for the self-revive, but he will be punished. Doki on the bomb site. Him and Virtue must hold this down.
Bees will ring out of the Grim of Bride, but that allows Alems just safety inside this top floor, knowing that player has now fallen off. They have been afforded the vertical control that they want in onto the bomb site. But these 2 players of G2 have very much vacated it. Virtue's all the way down inside of the basement, and Doki is the last one left on the bomb site without a C4 in his hands. If they've got time to make this vertical game work, they can make sure that Doki vacates his position. But will Bride be able to secure the kill as he makes his way on out? Oh, few shots taken, but not out.
13 kills for Doki so far, looking for a 14th, he finds it! Bride up against the worlds. This has been a game of clutches, but so frequently, it's G2, the name on our lips.
Tough spot now for Bride. He's going to be met by the resistance on the other side.
And the calls to send BDS home ring out here in Atlanta. Bride looking for the head that he cannot find. G2 hold firm on this crossfire. Could this be it for BDS? A bit of damage. I'm sweaty, G2 fans, get ready! Raise your katanas, the world champs are back in the semi-finals.
And in such dominant fashion, 2-0 between the 2 titans of EU. G2 make the better of them.
And in such dominant form, 7-2, 7-4. Doki farming as usual, and Uno looking like the magic ingredient this roster needed. G2 unfallible as ever. They have broken the curse of Copenhagen. They've made it through to the semi-finals, and their eyes lie on one thing, the trophy.
And it seems like the hard work of the support staff has paid dividends for G2. I mean, Titan said it himself. They were surprised by the veto taking this one away, and G2 showed us that. Their dominance was absolutely unfounded by BDS.
7th, 8th in the European League for G2. A comeback through the last chance qualifier, and here proving in Atlanta they are the best team from Europe. BDS, a disappointing end, not only to their major, but to their 6th invitational run, as G2 send them back to France. But what a stunning performance from our reigning world champions. They will go and fight another day here in Atlanta.
Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch these 2 teams battle it out. G2, they have such a magic to their play style and to their preparation, and I really feel like Romalo, their coach, has just put in such hard work to make this series as strong as it was.
Yeah, on the back of that tactical timeout, 2 rounds straight, and every time it comes down to that 1v1, G2 are more than ready. Doesn't matter if it's a 1 versus 3, they will always keep fighting for that. And for G2, what's there more to say? It's a World Championship roster that has boosted their roster time and time again with successful additions. Uno looking like the perfect fitting glove. But Alamau, I'm sure that he's got a lot to say, so we'll toss it back to Ian on the stage.
Thank you very much, guys. It feels like the real G2 has finally stood up, and I'm here with Alamau. That was an incredibly dominant performance. Feels like Montreal, that sort of energy, the vibes between you guys, the incredible performances. You made light work of BDS.
Yeah, I mean, if you analyze our maps with their maps, we knew it was gonna be like kind of like a easy game. But we struggled a little bit to close the Chalet, I think, because we had so many good attacks and we couldn't close. So could have been like 7-1 Chalet, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, ready for W7M now.
You personally are having a tremendous tournament, like a real standout player. How much are you enjoying your Siege right now?
I'm enjoying playing so much. I couldn't practice for this event, as some people know, because I was trying to get the visa for US, so I couldn't practice with my team. They were practicing with the analyst, and we are just showing everybody that we don't even need to practice to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete performance across the board. All players on this roster showing their skill set here. Uno, the latest addition, has made such a massive impact, and I'm watching you sat beside him there, just reacting to some of his big plays. What a star he is.
Yeah, I mean, Uno, I told him so many times, and I tell everybody, Uno like was the best player I could ever possibly pick him up. The best support I ever played with. Like, his mechanic is insane. So he's not like that boring support player you're watching the one before and the guy's like terrible. Uno is just like one of the best players I ever played with. And also Jake, another support player, showing up on the big stage once again. And yeah, we're so ready for the rest of the games.
I mean, Uno, seasoned veteran, cold as ice in the server. Does he ever smile, just out of curiosity?
No, he never smiles.
All right, so W7M up next in the semi-final. This is a rematch of SI. You guys beat them in a high-stakes environment. Can you do it again?
Yeah, of course.
Any message to W7M? They're definitely going to be watching, man.
W7M, vocês sabem já que vocês vão perder. Deve ser realmente triste estar aparecendo no stage sabendo que vai ser derrotado.
Lamau, thank you so much. Congratulations again, and we'll see you on the main stage for the semi-finals. The fan support is definitely here for G2, who make it into the semis and progress through this tournament with the greatest of ease. To look back on that one is Jacob and the guys.
Thanks, Ian. That bad boy felt like it was over way sooner than it should have been, considering the pedigree of both squads. For G2, a date with W7M is on the horizon. The SI Grand Final will be a semi-final come tomorrow. And for BDS, commiserations to the French. They waved the white flag today, and it kind of sucks to say that out loud.
Yeah, they're going to have to sit and wait and see what DZ do later, because, you know, that's this major gone. It's potentially SI gone for BDS. Because they came up against an opponent today that was just too good. And I think that's the scariest thing about G2, is that they've got to the point of main stage without really getting out of second gear. They took it up a gear today and still absolutely disposed of BDS. They had a couple of troll rounds on Chalet. Like Alamar said, this should have been like 7-2, 7-1, done and dusted with one of the best teams in the world. G2 are just looking better and better and better.
No, absolutely. With that being said, though, 3 individual clutches coming down to the wire for G2. Doki 1v2, Alamau 1v2, Uno 1v3. There's a certain level of BDS maybe not playing the man advantages. Every time they had that man advantage, they just couldn't get a lockdown on G2.
Nothing about that Doki comment from earlier in the interview about wondering whether not playing every single round of the playoffs would be a detriment. They didn't need an additional warm-up. They came in after 3 to 4 days straight with no matches to play and did this to one of the best teams. BDS was a higher ranked team than G2 in Europe coming into this tournament, and they did this to them in 2 maps flat. We thought the GK series might be over in 2. Instead, G2 are the ones putting BDS in the dumpster.
Yeah, and look again who's turned up across both the series. In the very first Kafe, it was Uno, it was Virtue. In this game in particular, Doki's turned up, and then of course Uno again. What an excellent series he's had. And that's the thing, there's still Alamau to turn up, there's still Benja's to turn up. That's the dangerous thing about G2, is they get the strategy right with Split Fury, they get the strategy right with defaults. If the opponent happens to get the strategy better than them and executes the strategy better than them, they've still got 5 players who can all clutch up and put in huge numbers on their day.
Absolutely. They also knew that if they threw Benja and Alamau at Shaiko and Liquifac, BDS had a very difficult time entering on the map on attack. So if they throw themselves at each other, go 1 for 1, and it comes down to a 3v3, I mean, you heard Alamau say it. He's got 2 of the best supports in the game. They were not missing. From the first map to now, they know that when they're in a position just to set up and shoot, they just win it out.
Everything works out. And for BDS, we should clarify something. They are not completely out of the 6 Invitational running yet. Right now, they hold enough points in 20th that would guarantee them a spot if it weren't for Los being in 21st place. So what BDS need to have happen is Game 3, Quarterfinal 3, Dark Zero needs to beat Los in order for Los to not have enough points to overtake BDS in that 20th spot. So right now, the French could still go to Brazil. It's just a matter of whether that game goes their way or not.
Yeah, and that's the big thing for them is it was in their hands, it is now out of their hands. They're sat waiting on a team, you know, that they're nothing to do with, North American team in Dark Zero, to produce a result against Los. And if that doesn't happen, then, you know, they've just got to put it down to the bad performance they had in phase 1, to not winning that game in stage 2 in terms of the EUL to get that extra 20 points to secure it. And, you know, it's cruel world, I will say.
No, this is going to be the first time BDS probably wants an NA team to win.
Yeah.
If I'm BDS right now, I'm putting on my Dark Zero jersey. I'm giving Troy Canadian a back rub. Whatever they need, I'm making it happen.
Well, Jack, I know it must have been really hard watching both of your kids basically tear one another apart to figure out who was going to make the semis.
Yep.
But Atlanta, can you do me a favor? Can we please give Foxy a round of applause for his guest spot on the analyst desk? His shift might be over for right now. He'll be on a TriCast later on, but you've not been on a desk since 2018. Talk me through, man. How was it being here with us?
Oh, it was a great time. I mean, I hope I was able to provide a lot of good analytics, a lot of good points, and just make things overall interesting. There's one fresh on desk fan out there that's been screaming the whole time. I don't know if they can hear him on stream, but you guys just got to know he's screaming through all of our ears. It's really hard to focus, but we're making it work. I mean, from start to finish, it's been amazing. Huge shout out to everyone from Blast. I hope I've been able to, you know, make everyone at Blast and Ubisoft happy. So thank you guys for having me. Love you guys in the crowds, and I'll see you guys at the TriCast.
We do love a little North American flair here in America. Hey, real quick, we got Dark Zero in quarterfinal number 3. Who's excited for that? It'll be DZ and Los after the break. Don't go anywhere.